Hey guys, welcome back to Rocket Gyan, my fellow space tubers. Okay, so we are here again to witness another launch, and this time it's again coming from SpaceX only. SpaceX has been really active since the year began, and we are seeing the fifth launch already. So, yes, SpaceX is the company which already has done four launches, and today is the fifth launch. And if you witnessed the last launch, you know what return to the launch site meant. One of the most beautiful and magnificent views we saw were in the previous stream from the SpaceX. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to stream that because it was at 5 a.m. for me, and I had exams that day. So we are here to see this mission, and this is a return to the launch site mission, which means the booster, the first stage, will perform a boost back burn and then come back to the landing zone to for I guess for this mission land. And it will hopefully they have those powerful ground cameras which we had for the previous stream, and they captured a very beautiful shots. I will make you see also them if we get some time. And yes, hi everyone. Hi the Falcons, Lab Rat and Jennifer. Hello, welcome to the stream. Okay, so let's quickly just summarize as in what do you need to know about this mission. So this is a NROL-87 mission, which means this is a classified mission, right? The payload which is hosting is a classified one, so we don't know much about it. In fact, we don't know anything about it. It's just that those are reconnaissance and surveillance satellite. That's what I can say. Yeah. So this is how the mission profile would look like. First of all, the launch would happen, then the ascent. Here, the stage separation. So interesting part here will be at this point. After stage separation, if you have watched Starlink mission, you must have seen that it does not do this kind of trajectory where it performs a boost back burn and then an instead what it does is it goes till the apogee, it goes to till the apogee, and then it comes down and then performs an entry burn. But for this mission it will perform a boost back burn, which signifies that for this mission we have enough fuel. So they actually in SpaceX they can actually make a trade-off whether they need to load in more fuel, or whether they can go in with less fuel and land on the drone ship, or they can load more fuel and come back to the landing zone. So this obviously depends on the payload capacity, I mean the payload weight. But if the payload weight is lighter, they have the choice. If they can they what in from my past experiences, I have seen that SpaceX tries to minimize the requirement of drone ships, so it will try to load on the propellant so that the booster itself comes back to the launch site rather than taking it to the drone ship. And then first of all you need to station the drone ship in the ocean, and then the booster lands on it and then it comes back. So that is a hectic process and a time consuming one, that they chose this path where it will just do a boost back burn, in which boost back burn, what is basically a boost back burn, it will basically cancel all its horizontal velocity. This has actually gained some horizontal velocity at this point, right? So what it will do is return to the launch site, means it will literally do a flip burn here, as they say, and as you can see in the graphic also, and perform turn on its engine, cancel all its horizontal velocity, and instead gain additional velocity in this direction so that it can again come back to air. And after it has matched the trajectory, it will do those entry burn, aerodynamic guidance, grid fins, and then finally the land. So this is like the thing which you should see today. And nothing as such I say very much unique about this thing. Only as you can see, this is an NROL mission, so we won't get to see the payload deploy in this case. So this is the the webcast would end at fairing deploy, I guess. So that's why we don't even have the payload deployment. So yes, that is the case. And so this is the first NRO launch of 2022, 139th Falcon 9 launch, 105th booster landing. So they have already done 100 plus landing, and this is the 5th SpaceX launch and 9th orbital launch attempt of 2022. So out of 9 missions, the SpaceX will be doing 5 missions after this one. So this shows how busy SpaceX is. It's already January has just passed and they have already completed 4 missions. Just wow. And talking about what actually we got in the previous year, let's have a look at it.
Conduct mission.
See the ground camera.
Conduct mission.
Hopefully, I am hoping that we will be seeing some
Stage 1 boost pack startup
of these shots, and that wow.
And some incredible.
Conduct mission. Stage 1 boost pack startup.
Yes, was a long time before any launch happened, so that's why maybe. Okay, so let me see whether we have SpaceX live. No, we still have like 5 minutes. So if you have anything else, you can ask me. Yes, the Chandrayaan 3 is finally scheduled for Chandrayaan 3 is finally scheduled for August 2022, and if you are a ISRO fan, you must be thrilled with this news, because this has been taken up. This was asked in the parliament, and the answer was that the Chandrayaan 3 will be launched in August of this year. Many were speculating that no, Chandrayaan 3 will not launch today. I was expecting Gaganyaan to be launched rather than the Chandrayaan, but I think the priorities have changed now. They are looking in for a Chandrayaan launch this year and then the Gaganyaan. And let me tell you, this year for ISRO will be very busy, because they will be doing almost 10 missions this year. Not 10 exactly precise, I would say 15 missions. Or 10 launch missions and 5 more missions. Yeah, so that is the case, and hopefully we get to see those things. So yes, thing about today's launch is that we don't actually have things to see, because for today's launch we don't have a payload. I mean, we don't have the information about the payload. So that is the yes. So we have like 10 minutes whenever they will come live, so we get to know. Great stabilized shot of Falcon 9. Actually, if I will just revert back to their stream also, the SpaceX one, they actually have all the footage. I mean, the footage from the launch to that shot. So they had a very the person who was operating that ground tracking cam was a very skilled person, because you don't get to see these kind of shots from first of all, you need skill, and also you need that equipment. So they had both at that point of time, the skill as well as the equipment. Even you know, those part, I don't know whether it was a person who was operating it or was just a computer who was operating it, because if it was a person, then hats off to that person for having this, the Falcon 9 on that frame, because is very very difficult in such a high zoom. But again, it's not difficult for an AI or a computer to do that. And yes, you can design an AI for camera tracking. You don't need a cameraman there. And as far as I know, SpaceX believes in automation. So maybe, just maybe, the shot was actually done by a computer and not a cameraman. Right now, for Chandrayaan 3, we only have this update that it is about to be launched in 2022. That's it. Other than that, we don't have anything else. We don't even have the proper characteristics of this of the Chandrayaan 3. Rather, I would say it was believed previously that there was one propulsion module which was which was to be launched with Chandrayaan 3, but rather than that, for this time they will have orbiter with Chandrayaan 3. And yes, people have those questions that Chandrayaan 2 orbiter is already there, then why do we need an orbiter? So there are certain circumstances, as in you don't need to waste the orbiter fuel, which the Chandrayaan 2 orbiter fuel, because that is a scientific orbiter. And instead what you can do is you can have an orbiter which is which is scheduled to be launched with the Chandrayaan 3. So by doing that, you will not only reduce the fuels of the orbiter 2, I would say Chandrayaan 2 orbiter, yes. You will not reduce the fuel of the Chandrayaan 2 orbiter, so it will perform nominally as it will, and all the landing and the relay communication will be done by that propulsion module or the orbiter in this case. And I don't think so we will have any scientific equipments in that Chandrayaan 3 orbiter. Instead, we will only have the cameras in the Chandrayaan 3 one. Yes, lander will be there, obviously. Okay, so now SpaceX should be coming live in 9 minutes. I think it should have come already. Okay, so regarding that is just the SpaceX, upper stage crashing onto the moon. It is nothing of. This event is of no significance, I must say, because first of all, if you have played KSP, you know what if you play KSP in a way in which you want to in which you don't want any space debris floating in the space. So what you do is you orbit the stage which is going to the moon to the moon, and nothing happens. So kind of similar thing is with real life also, that if you crash something on the moon, nothing significant will happen. So please stop hyping that. I mean, there have been many news articles and clickbaity articles, I would say, but everything is safe and sound, and hopefully 7th February will crash onto. And this is not the first time something is crashing onto the moon. Like a rocket stage is crashing onto the moon. In Apollo era, many rocket stages have crashed onto the moon. So you have to look into that. And I don't know why they haven't come live. Let me just. I think they will come live in just. Okay, so they actually have delayed their times. So now they have actually okay, 9 minutes more. Let me just update the time here. You will have some reference. They have updated time. Actually, yes. If required, or maybe just just maybe, it can capture that site, crash site, because first of all it's in a polar orbit, so that means it can go virtually go or theoretically go at every coordinate on the moon, and maybe just maybe it will be able to just for PR sake, maybe um, we have some pictures of the crash site, but before that I would want some Apollo 11 landing site, just because ISRO has already captured them, and we have seen those image presentations given to mix or some conference or something like that, but not the highest version, or you can see raw material version of that landing site. So I'm still waiting for the Chandrayaan 2 data to come for that landing site, and we shall have some good image of them. So right now we still have some time, so 7 minutes as say, so we still have 7 minutes. If you have something to discuss, we can discuss. And talking about the SpaceX for this mission, the Falcon, for this mission, the Falcon 9 is coming back to the landing site, as I said, and you must have seen from the thumbnail itself. So we should hear that sonic boom when it arrives, and some great tracking shot. Hopefully we don't get those that fog or some weather conditions does not allow it. And right now I don't know why they have pushed the launch time by 10 minutes. Maybe just some and it's some I don't want a weather glitch to happen, maybe just a technical one. That's why. Let me see if we have any date on. Okay, so no new T0 for today's Falcon 9 launch is 12:27 Pacific. That's what we have, and all systems and weather are looking good for today's Falcon 9 launch. So that is a great sign to hear. Hopefully we will get to see some good enough day. Is it GPU prices are going to drop? I should be looking for some build then. I need to see, but I don't know. I actually haven't looked into those things right now. If it is going to drop, then I'll have to start researching. This will be the second boost back burn in a row. Well, that is a thing, yes. And I don't know whether it has happened or not. This will in a row. This is the second one in a row, and before today's mission, it was planned like 12:27 Pacific was supposed to be this SpaceX NROL mission, and then just 1 hour 30 minutes after that was supposed to be the Starlink mission. It was planned until today because now NROL will happen. Worries with that, but the Starlink mission is pushed back now. Will happen in I don't know what is the timing area, but it has been pushed back some hours, or should I say 12 hours. Yeah, it has been pushed by 12 hours. Would have been great if we could have got the SpaceX launching 2 rockets in just 2 hours from 2 different launch sites. That would have been great. Okay, just a sec. a sec. Okay. Okay. Hi Shashank, how are you after so long? How's your college life going? I think you are in the college now, right? Your first year. Yes, SpaceX is live. We still have 13 minutes and hopefully we will get to see some great footage today. How much time would Chandrayaan take to reach to the moon? It would depend on the weight actually. If those overth effect burns need to be taken care of, then it would actually depend on the number of burns needed to go to the moon. If it is a direct burn, then it would take only 3 days. Otherwise, it can take up to a week. So we'll have to wait. That's great, Shank, and you have gotten an ID angle that is
LW01 WeatherNet, liftoff conditions. Pretty good. The STS is ready for launch.
Ignition. Liftoff.
Falcon 9 has cleared the tower.
Ten, 9, 8,
Side booster ignition.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon. It's February 2nd, 2022, and on your screen is a live view of Falcon 9 as it waits for its 12:27 p.m. Pacific Time launch from Space Launch Complex 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base off the coast of California. My name is Kate Tice, and I'm a Reliability Engineering Manager here at SpaceX, joining you from our headquarters about 150 miles south of the launch site. Our mission today is NROL-87 for the National Reconnaissance Office, or NRO. Today marks the NRO's first launch of 2022 and their 60th launch since public disclosure of launches began in December 1996. It also marks SpaceX's 143rd launch overall, our 5th launch of the year, and the second of 3 launches for this week. Now, for those of you that have been following along, you know that our most recent mission lifted off from Space Launch Complex 40 down in Florida on Monday. Following today's launch of NROL-87, we're set to launch our next Starlink mission tomorrow from Pad 39A off the coast of Florida. We're currently at T-minus 11 minutes and 11 seconds, and conditions are, as you can see on your screen, gorgeous for today's launch. Obviously, the weather's looking good. We have no major areas of concern. The range is green and ready to support. And finally, the vehicle and payload are in good health. Today's payload, the NROL-87 satellite, is a national security payload designed, built, and operated by the National Reconnaissance Office. NRO missions provide critical information to more than 500,000 government users, to include every member of the intelligence community, 24 domestic agencies, our nation's military, lawmakers, and decision makers. Here's a closer look at the NRO and its capabilities.
For 60 years, we have been making the intelligence that keeps America safe possible. We are the leader in developing, building, launching, and operating our country's space reconnaissance systems. Our adversaries are moving fast, so we are moving faster to stay above all threats. We are going beyond, building resilience in everything we do. innovating faster to create
Yes,
a technology.
this is an NROL launch, so you would hear this commercial, but
Alongside our partners and
NROL obviously does some great things which we don't know because uh, our, all of its payload and missions we don't get to see the specifics of it.
Reconnaissance Office,
Yes.
above and beyond.
The NRO has a busy launch year planned ahead for 2022, with more than a half dozen launches scheduled and a dozen payloads planned for orbit. While SpaceX has launched several missions for the NRO, today's mission represents the first launch of a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket procured directly under the National Security Space Launch, or NSSL program. NSSL is a government launch acquisition program aimed
guys,
at ensuring
tell
continued
me,
access to space for national security missions.
for
The program is overseen
since
and
when did
operated
you
by the US Space
see,
Force's
you know,
Space
when did you
Systems
last
Command,
see, I would say, when did you
headquartered in
last
Los
see
Angeles,
the
California.
Falcon 9 rocket
One
with
thing
the
to
new
note,
booster?
per the NRO's request, we will not be sharing any views from the second stage
And
today,
today is the
and we
day
will be
when the
ending our
Falcon 9 is
webcast
launching with
around
the new
T plus
booster.
8-minute mark, just after Falcon 9 touches back down onto land. We're almost at
This is
8
LD on
minutes and
countdown
30
1 with us.
seconds.
Hold authority communication check. Please respond with strength and clarity when pulled. NOPS OD.
Loud and clear.
PD.
Loud and clear.
Quick poll there, as we just heard. We're approaching T-minus 8 minutes. All systems continue to look good for an on-time liftoff. So for now, let's take a closer look at the rocket on your screen. Falcon 9 is our two-stage rocket standing at 230 feet, or about 70 meters tall, roughly the height of a 20-story building. When it's fully fueled, it'll hold just over 1 million pounds of propellant that the vehicle will burn through in less than 3 minutes after liftoff. We began loading those propellants on both stages of the vehicle back at T-minus 35 minutes. The bottom two-thirds of the vehicle is the first stage. While it's designed to be reflown 10 or more times with minimal refurbishment between flights, today will be the first flight for this particular booster. As you might be able to tell, that its shiny white coat of paint can be clearly seen. There's no soot on this booster. At the bottom of the first stage, there are 9 Merlin engines that will get Falcon 9 off the ground and up to the thinner parts of the Earth's atmosphere. The two stages will separate from one another. The second stage continues to orbit, while the first stage makes its way back down to Earth for its landing attempt at Landing Zone 4, which is not too far from where it will lift off. There you can see Landing Zone 4 on your screen now. If successful, this will be the first landing for this booster. It will also mark the 105th successful recovery of an orbital-class rocket. Now, as for the second stage, which we see there just under the payload fairing, that will ignite its single Merlin vacuum engine, or MVAC, about 2.5 minutes into flight. It's this engine that will take the NROL-87 spacecraft to its intended orbit. At the moment, our payload today is safely enclosed inside the 17-foot diameter payload fairing, which you see there, the structure at the very top of the rocket. This protects the satellite from aerodynamic heating, loads, and contamination during ascent. Once we reach the vacuum of
Stage
space...
1, fuel load is complete.
All right, good news there. Stage 1 fuel load has completed. Now, once we reach the vacuum of space, we'll jettison those fairing halves while the second stage continues on to orbit. Just like our Falcon 9 booster, today these fairing halves are also brand new, and we will be attempting to retrieve them from the water once they make their way back to Earth.
This is a
As I mentioned earlier, this mission is for the National Reconnaissance Office, or NRO. The NRO is responsible for developing, acquiring, launching, and operating America's reconnaissance satellites, as well as operating associated data processing facilities in support of national security. These sophisticated systems are used to develop military targeting data, support international humanitarian relief operations, and assess the impact of natural disasters. As a reminder, per the NRO's request, we will not be showing any views from our second stage today, and we will be ending our webcast around the T+8 minute mark, just shortly after Falcon 9 touches back down at Landing Zone 4. So far, we are at T-minus 5 minutes and 6 seconds, and all systems remain go for an on-time liftoff. The range remains green and ready to support. As for the weather, as you can see by those views from Vandenberg Space Force Base, it's a gorgeous day for launch. We have basically 0% probability of violation with respect to weather rules for today. The vehicle and payload continue to be healthy. In fact, the payload is now on internal power. And if for some reason today that we are unable to launch, we do have a backup window tomorrow at the same time. Next up, the truss structure there next to the vehicle, known as
MD, cell D on countdown 1.
GMD. It's a MD.
Is coming through the final status check. You and your team are go for launch and landing.
MD and team are go for launch and landing.
Copy.
All right, we can see there that the clamp arms on the transporter erector, or TE, have now begun to open in preparation for retraction of the TE. This is one of the last major visual milestones that we have prior to launch.
This is the problem.
At this point in time, both the first stage and second stage are nearly fully loaded with 1 million pounds of kerosene fuel and liquid oxygen, or LOX, as you often hear us call it. The white clouds that you see there on the side of the vehicle are normal. That's just that super chilled liquid oxygen coming into contact with the ambient air around the vehicle. The fuel is completely loaded on both first and second stage, and we're expecting the first stage to wrap up its LOX loading in about 15 seconds at T-minus 3 minutes, and second stage will complete its LOX loading at T-minus 2 minutes. At T-minus 60 seconds, we'll hear a call out that Falcon 9 is in startup.
Stage 1, LOX load complete.
All right, so stage 1 is now fully loaded with both all of its fuel and liquid oxygen, and we're waiting for a second stage to wrap up that
This
LOX load.
shot, it seems like
When we hear the
how
call out,
Falcon 9 is
is in
standing,
startup,
right,
that
fully
means that the
vertically.
rocket's
Seems
autonomous
like it will
internal
just,
flight computers have
topple
taken
down
over the
right
launch
now.
countdown.
This view is
And then
very
just inside of T-minus 2
good, I
seconds,
must
we
say
will
that.
light the Merlin M1D engines and set for liftoff.
I
Right now, the
haven't seen
NROL-87
Falcon
payload
9
continues to be
this
healthy
tall,
on internal power,
actually.
and the Falcon 9 team is
Great
tracking
view.
no issues on the rocket.
Okay, so we are T-minus 2
So we're
minutes,
about 20 seconds
seconds
away from second stage LOX load completion.
Everything is
looking
looking
really
great
good.
right now.
As you can see, there's not a cloud in sight. Typically at Vandenberg, we have some fog to deal with. So if you're local to the area, you're sure to see a beautiful liftoff and landing, as we will be attempting to land back at landing zone 4, which is about 1,000 feet away from the launch pad.
SpaceX surely has done some revamp on webcam, and we are getting some great views. Really, I'm looking forward to this view.
Stage
how
2,
this
LOX
view
load
will
complete.
look. So T-minus 1 minute 40 seconds, everything is looking great. And
All right, there we heard the call out. Stage
we will
2
be
LOX
getting
load is
some good
complete.
views.
At this point in time, the vehicle will start venting the liquid oxygen, as you can see there on your screen. The leftover liquid oxygen basically left in the load lines. Everything continuing to look good for an on-time liftoff.
One minute, guys. Okay, now is the time.
MD is go
Sit
for
back,
launch.
Falcon is in startup.
Sit back, relax.
There we just heard mission directors go
enjoy
for
the
launch, and that the vehicle is in startup. The the onboard flight computers have taken over the launch countdown. We're now at T-minus 25 seconds. Let's listen in to the final countdown.
T-minus 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15,
T-minus 15.
14, 13, 12, 11, 10.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition.
Yes.
Liftoff of L-87. Go Falcon, go, go. Vehicles pitching
This
downrange.
is unreal.
Nominal first stage chamber pressures.
Just wow. SpaceX surely have invested in some good cameras.
We're now T plus 40 seconds into the NROL-87 mission. Falcon 9 is throttling down in preparation
Power and telemetry.
for max Q, which will take place at T plus 1 minute and 12 seconds. Max Q, of course, being the moment in which the vehicle experiences the highest amount of aerodynamic pressure. Beautiful views of the California coast there in the background.
And we don't see the pitching right away this time. And see that, right?
Max Q.
All right, there we heard the
Max
call out
Q.
for max Q. Everything looking good with stage 1 trajectory. Now, in the next couple minutes, we have 5 events coming up in quick succession, starting with main engine cutoff, stage separation, stage 1 flip, second engine start 1, and then the boost back burn. Main engine cutoff, as the name
Start of
suggests,
back chill.
we will we will shut down all 9 Merlin engines. The stages will separate. The first stage will actually flip over and conduct a boost back burn, and that's what we have to do in order to fly the booster back towards land. And of course, during that time as well, we'll have second engine start 1, where we will ignite the Merlin vacuum engine. Again, not a
These
cloud in the
views
sky, gorgeous liftoff
are
from
just incredible.
Vandenberg Space Force Base, Space Launch Complex 4 East.
Now the Miko is coming up. And get ready for some views. Wow.
First stage engine cutoff.
Stage separation confirmed.
And we have ignition.
Stage 1 boost back startup.
All right, there
Yeah.
you saw all of those crystal clear, beautiful
Oh.
views. That first stage now is performing the boost back
Fairing
burn.
separation.
And back pull.
And there we
full
heard the
power.
call out that fairing separation has been confirmed. Unfortunately, we're unable to broadcast that at the request of our customer, but we were able to confirm the deployment of that. We're now 3 minutes into launch, and the next milestones coming up include the conclusion of the boost back burn, which we see right there on your screen, and that will finish at T plus 3 minutes and 15 seconds.
Stage 1 boost
view
back
is
shutdown.
All
just
right, there we heard
unreal.
call out that the boost back burn has completed. Our first stage will be attempting a land landing in just a few moments. One of the nice things about land landings is that we're not subject to ocean weather, and it's pretty convenient to land the first stage basically right next to where it lifted off from. However, our ability to execute a land landing really is dependent upon the customer's needs. Their mission trajectory and performance needed by the satellite is what determines if we can return to land.
Exactly as I
Most
said.
of the time, their requirements don't allow for a return to launch site, which is what we're performing today, which is why we also developed the capability to land our first
Both
stages.
vehicles on nominal trajectory.
Good news there, both first and second stage reporting to have nominal
Actually,
trajectory.
Wildflower, we do know the
So that's why we
intended
developed
orbit, as in it is a sun synchronous orbit. That's it. This is going to a sun synchronous polar orbit. Other than that, we don't know anything.
Stage has 2 more burns left. Next up is the entry burn, and that's where we will reignite 3 of the Merlin engines on the first stage. That will help to slow the booster down as it re-enters the upper part of the Earth's atmosphere. That's a view there coming from inside the inner stage. We can see the stage pusher there. Here we have a beautiful view. I think that's probably one of the channel islands there on the right-hand side of the screen. We can see 2 of the 4 hypersonic grid fins.
Wow.
We deploy those shortly after the stages separate, and those grid fins help steer the vehicle during descent. You will also see that right there, we just saw one, like a puff of white gas. That is nitrogen gas from attitude control systems that help control the vehicle's orientation. So there we can see the booster is steering itself back to Vandenberg Space Force Base. Piece of ice there on the left-hand side. Absolutely stunning views today, both of liftoff and our landing attempt. As I mentioned before, Vandenberg typically has quite a bit of fog, so it's more common to hear a launch than see one from Vandenberg. So for those that were able to catch it, I'm sure it was a stunning sight.
Now it is coming directly down.
We are about 20 seconds away from the entry burn. Again, this burn is the second of 3 burns that we will be performing today. And this burn is designed to slow the vehicle down significantly.
Both vehicles are on a nominal trajectory.
I can't just imagine the fact that
So the
they are
booster is
literally
now
landing
basically
it on
coming through the
land
thicker
at
part of the Earth's
Earth.
atmosphere. So we're going to slow its velocity down with this entry burn.
Just because everything is so clear this time, these views are
Stage 1,
incredible.
entry burn, startup.
There we can see that entry burn has begun, and this will last for another few seconds.
Stage 1, entry burn, shutdown.
And we can see that entry burn has concluded. The vehicle continues to steer itself for a precise landing back at landing zone 4 at Vandenberg Space Force Base. The next burn we have is the landing burn. During the first stage landing burn, a single Merlin engine, the center engine, will relight and slow the vehicle down.
FTS is saved.
If you look closely, you should be able to not only see our landing zone, but our launch site as well.
Stage
Again,
2 FTS has saved.
the landing zone is pretty close to our launch pad. Shortly before the vehicle touches down.
Stage 1, landing burn, startup.
All right, we can see the landing burn has begun. Landing zone coming into view for the first stage. Again, this is the first flight for this booster and first landing attempt.
Stage 1, landing leg, deploy.
How can you even slightly doubt their landing attempt?
And as you can see, a picture-perfect landing of this first stage booster. Its first flight and first landing. This booster will be prepared for reflight on another NRO mission later this year. This also marks our 105th overall successful recovery of an orbital class rocket, including both Falcon 9 and Heavy first stage landings. As I mentioned earlier, at the request of our customer, the National Reconnaissance Office, we are concluding our webcast coverage early today. We would like to hear the NRO for entrusting us with today's launch, and a special thanks to the Range and the Federal Aviation Administration for licensing support. For all those tuning in, thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for our Starlink launch.
Dude, that was so cool. I must say that this thing will never ever get old. And today we just witnessed the most clearest launch I have personally ever seen from SpaceX. Everything was crystal clear, visible, and because of that, everything looked so perfect. I'm just startled by the fact that they just casually land a 15-story building every time with such a precision, and we don't even get to, what should I say? Um, we don't even get to realize that it's such a tough task, but Again, SpaceX make it look so easy. It is actually splendid. And yes, regarding those uh, comments of the shadow banning, yes, I think it was stream was shadow banned for some reason. I don't know why that happens. This YouTube, I haven't done anything wrong, but I can see the views also. This time it was less, and it, yes, something YouTube side happened today, which caused my stream to not show up in recommendations search also. So, nevertheless, we witnessed. I am happy that we witnessed a great SpaceX launch, and I was hoping to see some great views like this you are seeing in the front of the camera. I was hoping to see some good views like this, but we didn't see, and I am happy for that also, because see these ground cams are, and regarding the quality of the streams for the SpaceX, they have increased significantly, which means SpaceX is investing in their cams, and I am just hoping that we will get some good views of from the Vandenberg station too. Maybe they were not having the ground cam there, that's why they were not able to get these views, but because of the clarity and everything, the views which they got were incredible, and I'm so happy that I streamed this one, because I was when I didn't stream the last this mission, which is in front of you, I was just scratching my head and doing some things with me, that why didn't I stream this one, because it was the most beautiful one. Again, it was at 5 a.m. for me, exams, so okay. So thank you so much everyone for joining in. Whosoever joined today, na, those everyone is like the uh, like people who are very loyal to this channel, and thank you all for joining in, because this time YouTube literally shadow banned me for some reason. Nothing is no copyright or something like that. Nothing, but you decided to not show this stream anyone's recommendation. If you are here, you must have searched it, and or maybe just have popped up in your browsing browsing stream or whatever. But I know that all guys are loyal, so thank you all for joining in. And the next launch coming up is the Starlink launch, but I don't stream those launches, because we get those views but we don't get those launches are kind of repetitive. I must not say that, but in case of I should say launches are repetitive in context of mission profile. Yeah. Stream's voice is choking. No, I think it is. Am I? No, my voice is right, correct, right? I think it is correct. Yes, it was at 5 a.m. for me, and waking up, or even just I tried to wake up, because I tried to wake up till 5 a.m. and stream it, but then I wasn't, because I had the okay, let's go off this stream. We'll stream. So next one coming up is, which I should be able to stream, is from Russia, but I don't know whether we will get to see the launch coverage. If we will get to see the launch coverage, I will shortly stream that. But on 5th of February, Astra is coming live with their launch. Hopefully, this time they will launch. They have postponed multiple times, but hopefully, this time we will get to see the launch. And nope, nothing. I'm not feeling the cold. Um, I was feeling the cold from few days, but today not too cold here. So yeah, and people watching from Canada, US, I'm not talking about you guys. You guys, I don't know how you survive in that winter, US and Canadian winter. Like people in Russia and Canada are same regarding winters. Discuss about the Agniban. Yes, okay. So you haven't uh, watched or followed me on Twitter, I tweeted this thing out that Chandrayaan 3 scheduled to launch in 20 August 2022. And if you can read Hindi, it says ये प्रमोशन अगस्त 2022 के लिए निर्धारित है, which means this launch is scheduled for August 2022, and by this they mean Chandrayaan 3. So this is the news which came out from the parliament. So this is looking like a good news, which we will see. And talking about the Agni Ban, actually I have tweeted that out too. So let me. I tweet very frequently, as well as things that are need to be seen. So just follow me on. This is the thing. So guys, this is the actual hardware coming out from a space startup in India, and this is like the, it's not a category of Falcon 9 rocket, but of a Electron rocket, and this is their second stage, which is evident from the huge uh, nozzle, and they have their stages with what should I say, running on electric pump fed cycles, just like Electron Rocket Lab. So space startup from India, and finally a hardware which you can see, actual hardware, which seems like, I don't know whether it is a flight hardware or what, but actual hardware which seems like it can fly. I must say that. So that is great, and hopefully we are, uh, hoping that we will get to see at least one launch from a space startup in India. The Skyroot Aerospace is the most evident candidate for that, but we haven't heard from them for a while. But let's see what happens. Right now, Agnikul Cosmos has their hardware ready. Okay, minus 30, minus 22. I don't know how do you guys survive here. Here in my location, if it goes to 3 degrees, 4 degrees, I just I don't know what should I say. I feel like not going out from my blanket. Okay, just got my new microspikes for the lovely ice storm. My spot is sketchy, but I'm guys, but how much might up to one? Uh, people living outside this snowy regions don't realize what type of what should I say, um, troubles people go through when ice falls, like ice on the roads, slippery roads, ice on the cars, which is the most irritating part. We don't realize, the people don't realize who don't experience snow. So that is one thing which you should know. Skyroot are focusing on their solid state booster. Yes, I do know, but actually we have not heard anything from them for a while, like as in whether they have tested, because we should have heard regarding the static fire test of the first, second stage, but not, we haven't heard about that. We'll have to wait and see. Play in the snow. How do you guys survive? I mean, I know you have those heaters running 24/7. I know that, but still, going outside is still a big task, I think so. I don't know. I'll come any winters in US or Canada or any, or Russia even. I'll okay. Anyways, the next okay. Is there anything else to discuss about? Don't think so. Well, we can actually see some news coming out. Nope, nothing as such. Okay. SpaceX have they tweeted any good footage? They have tweeted this one, and the liftoff was also very spectacular, I must say. Okay, this is their. Oh yeah, this one.
Ignition. Liftoff of L-87. Go Falcon, go.
This camera, I was hoping that we will get to see some footage from this camera during the liftoff, and we did, and it was great.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
So I think with that note, I can sum up my stream. Thank you all for cries in German. Okay.
8, 7, 6, 5.
Okay. So okay. So I think yes. No more questions. So we can wrap up this stream, and hopefully, for sure, we will meet on 5th Feb for the Astra launch. And if we get to see the Russian launch, if they stream that out, I'll make sure I will have that up for you all. So thank you all for joining in. You guys are great. Thank you all, the moderators, the members of this channel, and the Patreon members also. You guys are what make this channel possible and survive in this shadow banny YouTube algorithms or what, and the people who obviously would chat. So thank you all for joining in. I hope you have a great day. Until then, this is Priyanshu Rohila. You just saw Rocket Gyan. Stay safe, stay healthy, and bye-bye.